Folks, in my 20 years inside the NFL as a scout who's seen it all, from the glamour of the draft war rooms to the gritty underbelly of trade negotiations, I've never witnessed anything quite like what's quietly unfolding behind the scenes right now. You think you've seen big moves? Think again. Something monumental is brewing, something that could reshape the entire NFC landscape, and I guarantee you're only scratching the surface with what's being whispered in league circles. Trust me, this is not just about a player or a team. It's about a seismic shift that's about to echo through the halls of NFL power brokers, and if you're not paying close attention, you're going to miss the biggest story of 2026. Now, before I reveal what could be one of the most jaw-dropping trades in recent memory, let me tell you, this isn't filler. Stick with me, and I'll lay out every detail, every secret, every strategy behind what I'm about to drop. But first, make sure you're locked in. Hit that subscribe button, smash that like, and activate the notification bell because what I'm about to reveal is so explosive. It could change your entire perception of what's happening in Chicago and beyond. This isn't for the casual fan, this is for the true insiders, those who want to understand the chess moves before they happen. Are you ready? Then hold tight because what I've uncovered will blow your mind. This story begins deep in the NFL trenches, in a league where every move is calculated, every contract negotiated with surgical precision, and every player traded with the purpose of domination. And right now, one team stands on the precipice of a transformation, so profound that it's almost hard to believe it's happening in 2026. The Chicago Bears, a franchise that's long struggled to find their footing, have suddenly become the center of a storm, an insidious, secretive storm that might just have the league's biggest superstar in its crosshairs. And that superstar, my friends, is Derrick Henry. Think about it. Derrick Henry, the towering titan of the NFL, the unstoppable freight train known as King Henry, has spent the last 8 years building a legacy rooted in power, speed, and relentless determination. The Tennessee Titans drafted him in the second round back in 2016, and in the years since, he's evolved into a transcendent force, leading the league in rushing yards multiple times, dominating defenses with his stiff arm, turning short gains into long touchdowns, and redefining what a running back can be in this era of pass-happy offenses. But something's changed. Something bigger than stats. Because right now, sources close to the league confirm, Derrick Henry's future might be tied to a team he's never played for, an organization that's quietly making a move to snatch him away from the Ravens and shake up the entire NFL. Let's start by examining why the Chicago Bears are even in this conversation. Coach Ben Johnson, a rising star in coaching circles, fresh off a playoff victory in his first year, has been quietly crafting a new identity for this franchise. After years of being characterized by defensive struggles and inconsistent offense, Johnson's approach has been innovative, aggressive, and detail-oriented. His Lions background and offensive pedigree have transformed the Bears' scheme into a highly explosive, balanced attack. But what's missing? What could elevate them from playoff contenders to Super Bowl favorites? The answer is one of the league's most dominant, game-changing talents, someone who can carry the offense on his back in ways no other player can. The Bears, under GM Ryan Poles, have been laying the groundwork for something massive. This offseason, they've been quietly clearing cap space, making strategic signings, and holding meetings that seem to hint at a bold plan, one that involves adding a player with the kind of impact that shifts the entire balance of power. And the name that keeps coming up behind closed doors, Derrick Henry. Yes, the same Derrick Henry who's been the heartbeat of the Titans, the NFL's premier power back, and a player whose presence alone can change the complexion of a game. But why would Henry, at 32, an age that usually signals the twilight of a running back's prime, consider such a radical move? The answer is complex but revealing. Henry, for all his physical greatness, is desperate for one thing: legacy. He's already done everything possible in Tennessee, but has yet to win that elusive Super Bowl. The Ravens have come close, making deep playoff runs, chasing championships with Lamar Jackson, and featuring a roster built around a dual-threat offense. Yet the whispers say that Baltimore's window is closing, and Henry's time there is running out. Meanwhile, the Bears, with their new coaching staff, young quarterback Caleb Williams, and explosive offensive weapons, are positioning themselves as the perfect landing spot for a player who wants to cement his greatness in history. Now, buckle up because here's where it gets wild. You want the real picture. You want the inside scoop on how this could happen. It all starts with the trade mechanics, and trust me, it's no small feat to pry Derrick Henry loose from Baltimore, especially after he just signed a 2-year, $16 million deal that includes up to $20 million in total value. But when we dig into the NFL's cap landscape, the behind-the-scenes negotiations, and the current market dynamics, it becomes apparent that this isn't just wishful thinking. It's a calculated, strategic move that benefits everyone involved. Let me break down how this trade could unfold. First, the Ravens, knowing that Henry is only under contract until 2026, may see the value in capitalizing on his peak years. They might accept a package involving future draft picks, perhaps a first-rounder and a third-rounder, along with a young player or two to balance the salaries and cap hits. Why? Because Baltimore could see this as an opportunity to reset their offense, to pivot toward a more diversified attack that features a younger, more flexible backfield, allowing their passing game to flourish without the burden of Henry's hefty cap hit. Plus, with the Ravens rumored to be eyeing a reload in the draft or free agency, moving Henry could free up significant cap space, something GM Eric DeCosta has prioritized. And what about the Bears? They're willing to pay the price because they understand that Derrick Henry is more than just a running back. He's a symbol of power, a game-changer who demands the attention of defenses and opens up the entire offense. With Caleb Williams developing as a franchise quarterback and a young, explosive offensive line already in place, adding Henry would create a nightmare matchup for any opposing defense. Imagine a Bears offense with Henry pounding the rock on early downs, setting up play-action passes for Williams, forcing safeties to cheat up, liberating the entire attack. That's a scheme tailor-made for Johnson's aggressive philosophy. From a defensive perspective, the trade makes the entire league nervous. Why? Because it signals a strategic shift from the NFC, which is already looking at the Bears as a team on the rise. You think NFL insiders aren't whispering about this? You think rival teams aren't recalibrating their entire game plans? The ripple effect of acquiring Derrick Henry would elevate Chicago's stock overnight, turning them into instant Super Bowl favorites with a blend of power running, creative scheming, and emerging talent. And mark my words, the trade isn't just about next season, it's about sending a message. The Bears are back. They're here to dominate. Now let's see this from a film analysis perspective. Derrick Henry's game film is a masterclass in physical dominance. His running style, a relentless assault on defenses, an unstoppable combination of vision, speed, and power. Watching his tape, you see a back who can hit the hole at lightning speed, burst through the line, and then carry defenders for extra yards. His stiff arm, pure nightmare fuel for defenders like Harrison Smith or Derwin James. You want to talk about a player who can turn a 4-yard gain into a 75-yard touchdown? That's Derrick Henry. His advanced metrics, yards after contact, breakaway run percentage, goal line efficiency, are still elite despite his age. His burst and second effort are among the best in NFL history, giving him a unique advantage that few in his era can match. And you know what's terrifying? The analytics say he still has at least 2 more elite seasons left. His yards per carry, consistently over 4.5 through 2024. His contact-adjusted YAC, yards after contact, ranks in the upper percentile, making him an absolute nightmare for defenses designed around speed and agility. When you combine that with Johnson's scheme, stretching defenses horizontally, creating gaps, then unleashing Henry's downhill power, you get a recipe for unstoppable football. But here's where it gets even more fascinating. Rumors suggest that the Bears, front office and coaching staff have been secretly scouting Henry's recent games and privately discussing what he would bring to their offense. Behind closed doors, debates are raging about whether Henry's style fits their future plans, especially with Caleb Williams on the horizon and a roster hungry for a true game breaker. The consensus: Henry's presence would accelerate their rebuild exponentially, providing a core piece that would shut down any doubters and convince the league that Chicago is not just playoff-bound. They're a Super Bowl favorite in waiting. Imagine the headlines: Bears acquire Derrick Henry, Chicago's power surge sets league on fire. Henry and Williams, the future dynasty. Social media would explode, fans would flood the streets, and NFL pundits would scramble to analyze the implications. This isn't just a rumor. It's a strategic chess move by Ryan Poles and Ben Johnson, an audacious gamble that could define their legacy. And let's not forget the timeline. The NFL trade deadline isn't until October, but smart teams know the early bird gets the worm. Rumors swirl that the Bears are already making calls, offering futures, positioning themselves to pounce when the moment is right. The league's insiders. They're whispering about a deal in the works that could come at any moment, something big enough to shift the NFC power dynamic overnight. But here's the real question. What would happen if this trade goes down? The NFL landscape would be irreversibly altered. The Bears, with Henry leading the charge, would instantly become the team everyone fears. Their offensive line, already solid, would morph into a locomotive crushing opponents' hopes of stopping them. Their defense, energized by a new era of offensive dominance, would be even more focused, knowing they only need to hold a lead for a few seconds before Derrick Henry's next breakaway. The league would shake, rival GMs would panic, and the narrative of 2026 would change forever. In conclusion, folks, I've laid out every piece of the puzzle: the film, the analytics, the strategic fit, and the league whispers. But one thing is certain: this isn't just a rumor, it's a warning. Something truly massive is about to unfold, and if you blink, you'll miss it. The NFL is a game of inches, and right now, the center of that game is Chicago. Derrick Henry to the Bears? It's not just a possibility, it's a certainty that's lurking beneath the surface, waiting for its moment to explode. Stay vigilant. Keep your eyes glued on Hollis Hall. Because when this trade drops, it will rewrite the entire playbook, not just for the Bears, but for the NFL as a whole. And trust me, you're going to want to say you saw it coming. This is the real deal, bigger, bolder, and more explosive than anything you've ever imagined. The countdown has begun. Are you ready for what's next? Because I promise the best is yet to come.